What's up, guys? This is Jason Uthenwoldt, the lucky bastard, some may say. Uh, this is the Fantasy Footballin Show, coming from the spare bedroom of where I live, where it's half for crafting and half for making videos about fantasy football. This episode is all about Thursday night player pause between the 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. I'm doing the Niners. Tyler's doing the Seahawks. His will come out in a couple of days. Just for the record, I am recording this on Tuesday. So there's some people out there there's some players out there in the Thursday night game that are on the injury report. So this is Thursday's, I'm going off of Tuesday's injury report. So make sure to keep an eye on and all that. If you could bear with me, I've been coughing all day. I think I got the black lung pop. It sucks. It sucks. I hate coughing. I feel fine. I mean, by looking at this camera, though, I don't look fine. Maybe I am getting a little pale. Or maybe it's that standard definition web camera I still have. So waiting for the high def. Anyway, this could be a very interesting matchup, especially with the quarterback play on the 49ers side. If there's fantasy managers out there like me who squeezed into the fantasy playoffs and then lost Kyler Murray because someone doesn't know how to mow the field correctly and he tripped over a blade of grass and tore his ACL. That was cool. So I'm on the lookout for a quarterback. And this is what really has me going, right? So a quarterback that's probably on people's waivers. He is on mine. He's also playing Thursday night. It's Brock Purdy. But before we get into that, let me get you some stats for the Niners and Seattle. The 49ers are 1-2 in the last 3 games on Thursday nights. I don't think that record matters at all because the team is completely different from those previous 3 games. We got a different quarterback. We got a different running back. Yeah, I think this is all up in the air for tonight or for Thursday night's game. Okay, so the San Francisco 49ers are 13th in passing yards a game. They average 230. Brock Purdy last week, he was 16 for 21 for 185 yards. And I tell you what, that guy looked pretty good. And I also tell you what, he looked better than Jimmy G. So there might be something going on in San Francisco if he continues to play pretty well, right? The San Francisco 49ers are also 9th in rushing yards. They average 130 a game. On the other side, for defense, Seattle's 18th in opponent passing per game. They give up an average of 218 yards passing each game. And they are 31st in opponent rushing per game. They give up 160. The defense is not too good. They have good players on the defensive side. They got some young players. They're just not a good defense. And then some of the injury reports, some key players for the 49ers. Deebo Samuel, he's out with a knee or ankle. Brock Purdy, he's questionable. He was limited yesterday and today, Tuesday, with oblique ribs. I don't like that. Christian McCaffery was questionable, but appears it's just a maintenance thing. You know, you want to try to keep him healthy. And then on the Seahawks defense, safety Ryan Neal, nose tackle Al Woods, and defensive end Shelby Harris are all questionable for Thursday night's game. So keep that all in mind. Okay. Also, one thing I like to do for the Thursday night player pause, I do a boomer bust, and I've been pretty awful with it. Last week, I did a big boom for Derek Carr, and he was a big buzz. I think he got like 2 points in our league. I don't know what happened. I don't think anyone knows what happens. I think it was just bad play calling by the coach. Yeah, that one still hurts. I was so for sure about that one. Still hurts. Still hurts. So what I do is like look at a person's average or projections for the game and think if he's going to surpass it by a lot of points or if he's going to not reach it by a certain amount of points, like around 5. And this one is so tough. This one's tough is because I need a quarterback, and what I have on the waivers, we're going into the first round of the playoffs. I got oh man, sorry. Told you, black lung. Bear with me. I got Brock Purdy, who's going against Seattle, who has one of the worst defenses. He's questionable. But I don't think this is going to be a great game for him. He is projected to get 16 points. I think he's going to bust. I don't think he's going to reach 16. I think he's going to be a bust for this game. And like I said, this is difficult because the last week's game, he looked pretty good. He was throwing the ball pretty well. He had a rushing touchdown. He's able to run. He's got a good arm, a decent arm at least for Mr. Irrelevant. But he looked pretty good, and he looked better than Jimmy G. So, but yet if I get him off waivers, I probably would have to play him. I'm probably going to have to play this guy, even though I think he might not do well. I guess because of the matchup, he might play well, but I don't really see it happening. I don't really see it happening. So let's talk about this Brock Purdy guy, right? He's a rookie, 22 years old. He's from Iowa State. He was drafted in the 7th round and the 262nd pick, Mr. Irrelevant. And this is his second start. He's going against the 20th best defense in quarterback scoring. That sounds what you want to hear, right? This is why I want to put the pause on him. If I don't have to, I'm not going to start this guy. They're going to play at Seattle. 12th man is normally tough. I've been there. I know. And that's another Seattle first down. As a division game, that's tough. Both still fighting for playoff spots. Debo's out. The number one wide receiver for the 49ers, he's out. Now, Seattle Seahawks have 2 games of tape to try to figure out this rookie. The Seattle their defense has gotten 11 interceptions this year. The last time they played was in week 2, and Jimmy Garoppolo that's the game he came in because Trey Lance got hurt. So then Jimmy Garoppolo came in, played majority of the game. He only got 154 yards. These 2 teams, they normally play pretty tough against each other, right? Seattle has gotten better since that week 2 matchup. But so has the 49ers. Now they're considered one of the best teams in the league. But I think these teams, they just play each other pretty tight, especially at the end of the year, especially with a lot going on the line for the playoffs. And I think this is going to be a kind of a running game. I feel like they're going to feed the ball to another individual who I'll go over in a second. I think it's going to be more running. I don't see a lot of passing touchdowns in this game. Also, he's got the ribs. He's got the oblique that's hurting him. He takes one shot to those, and he could go out of the game. And that right now, remember, this is Tuesday. He's questionable. He's been limited practice Monday and Tuesday. I don't like that. So I'm going to put a pause and a bust on Brock Purdy. And that was a pretty hard conclusion I had to come up with because I was very tempted to play this guy, but I got to stick with it. Pause. This dude's a bust. On to the next. Obviously, you're going to play Christain McCaffery, right? He's a 4th overall running back in scoring. Seattle is 31st best against running back scoring. In week 2, he wasn't on the team yet. But the Niners still rushed for 189 yards against Seattle on 45 attempts. They averaged 4.2 carries. The lead back during that game was Jeff Wilson Jr., who led the way had 18 carries for 84 yards and 2 receptions for 19 yards. No touchdowns. But now you got a better all-around player than Jeff Wilson. I still like Jeff Wilson, but now you got Christain McCaffery who could do it all, right? He's a great runner. He gets a lot of his damage in pass catching, and he could throw the football if they really wanted to. But he's doing great and all that. He had a receiving touchdown last game. I think they're going to use him, and they're going to do the best they can just to. I mean, we just saw Carolina do this against Seattle last week, right? They just ran. Sam Darnold only had like 120 yards passing. They just ran the ball on this team, and they didn't need to pass it, and they ended up winning. So run the ball, use their defense. I think that's going to be their tactic. Play Christian McCaffery. Next. All right. So I gotta say this was another struggle, but I am going to say pause on Brandon Aiyuk. That was from Aiyuk, or from Street Fighter, right? Aiyuk. Oh my god, I lost my page. Yeah, I would pause him. He's an 18th overall wide receiver, but now he's the number 1 wide receiver on the 49ers. Right? Seattle is 5th best in wide receiver scoring. They're the 5th best. They don't give up a lot of touchdowns to wide receivers. They give up yards, but they don't really give up a lot of touchdowns. Obviously, teams are running the ball against them. They're not needing to run the ball. Look what happened, or teams are running the ball against them. They're not needing to throw the ball. Another example was 2 weeks ago when they played against the Raiders, and Josh Jacobs had like 200 something yards rushing. So people are not needing to pass the ball against Seattle. They're running it. So in the week 2 matchup, he did have 5 receptions for 63 yards on 8 targets. Seattle gives 1.5 touchdowns a game, but I don't think the touchdowns are going to be coming from Aiyuk. I think they're going to be a running touchdown, or this one's a little crazy too, right? Or it might be a passing touchdown to either McCaffery or George Kittle. Play George Kittle. This was another tough decision I had to try to make. George Kittle, he's a 10th overall, 10th tight end overall, which is saying a lot because he's having a bad year. I think people drafted him pretty early, hoping he would be like the number 3 or 4 tight end, but I think they're using this guy more for blocking than anything. But Seattle is the 31st best in defending against tight end scoring. George Kittle didn't play in week 2, but in the past 5 games, he's averaging 5 targets, and I'm expecting the Debo targets to go mostly, right? If Debo was averaging around like 7 to 8 targets, I think probably like 4 or 5 of them are going to go to Kittle alone, and then McCaffery, and then Aiyuk. So this could be the game that he actually gets that touchdown, that touchdown that everybody wants. I think it's going to happen. I think you play this guy, right? All right, next, play the defense. The 3rd overall. In week 2, they scored 14 fantasy points. They're top defense. They're one of the top defenses against the pass and the run. They've only given up an average of 7 points in the last 3 games. So that's pretty good. It's a pretty good defense. You play them in this matchup, even though they're going against a high-power offense. We saw what Carolina did to Seattle last week. You play Seattle, or you play the Niners defense. Next, you also want to play Robbie Gould. In week 2, he was 2 for 3. And Thursday night has been pretty good for kickers. So if you need to, play this guy. I think this is going to be a divisional tough game. I think there's going to be a lot of defense on the Niners side and running the ball. In the deeper leagues, if you want to take a gamble, I would say you could probably start. I believe that you could start Jordan Mason. This dude is averaging 5 yards a carry, but the only thing is he's not getting a lot of carries. But this game, if they're going to just take advantage and try to run the ball, there's a chance that he might get 10 plus carries this game. Him and McCaffrey, they just run. There's a good chance they don't want Purdy to be getting a hit in the backfield, injuring his oblique or his rib, so they could just be running the ball, trying to control it. There's a chance that he could get 10 plus touches, and if he keeps that average, it's a good decent amount of points with a chance to break up a long one. That guy, Jordan Mason, is pretty good. And if I was Elijah Mitchell, I'd be doing something to like getting bionic knees, because Jordan Mason is replacing you. He's looking like a good runner. Okay, that's it. Thank you guys for making it this far. If you did, if you could please like, subscribe, or then leave some comments. Also, if you want some more content, we started an Instagram, and the tag is the Fantasy Football Show. You can find us on there. Well, we try to post some good material. So we're still working on everything, and that's pretty much it. One shout out, 1:30 paperwork. At 1:30 paperwork. You'll get it. You won't get it, but you'll get it. You guys have good luck. And remember, this was recorded on Tuesday, so keep an eye out on the injury report. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.